The threat of a Gamma Gamma faction is building in Tingara. This is my thoughts on episode 14 of Aquatope on White Sand. So let's jump right into it. Yeah, I think that's the best quote in this entire episode, is this idea that they apparently believe that there is a Gamma Gamma faction being built within Tingara, which is exactly technically what I was theorizing mid-season, was like, what this idea of everybody starts to work at Tingara, and instead of building a new Gamma Gamma, they just take this over. That technically does make sense, because there's a good chance that by the end of this series, Kukuru might end up taking over Tingara from Akira, the director. And that would be really, really cool. That would be the way of being able to have her aquarium, but not building her own, just take one over. But yeah, anyways, we open up the episode with, obviously, Fuka and Kukuru. She just arrived there. Obviously, Kukuru is a little bit over emotional that her friend's back, and she just like, you didn't tell me you were coming. I would have come pick you up. And she's like, well, I want to surprise you. And oh yeah, by the way, surprise, I'm actually living right next to you at your house. I thought it was funny because it kind of has this moment where Kukuru and her go back to their apartment, and then Kukuru's unlocking her door and looks over and goes, wait, you're right next to me? It's like, what, did they separate at some point? And then Fuka just like snuck up behind her and then opened up the door? I would assume that you knew that she lived there because she followed you there, but anyways, maybe they were planning on coming over or something. It was funny. But yeah, Fuka said that she was actually coming there in order to work at Tingara as well. She's already graduated and everything, and so now she's going to work at Tingara along with everybody else. Everybody's joined Tingara. Again, the Gamma Gamma faction. But not only that, but Fuka also gets to be an attendant. Like, everybody but Kukuru gets to be an attendant at Tingara. So, again, another one to really throw into Kukuru's face. At some point, she does even acknowledge the idea that she was jealous. She says, you've grown so much, I'm kind of childish because I was jealous that you became an attendant, and I'm still in marketing. Not only that, but Fuka gets to actually be attendant with the penguins, which, yes, is under Chiyu. Goodness, right there. Yeah, it was really cool because they had this little moment where we're still calling her Plankton, apparently. So that's apparently now become her new nickname, is Plankton. Kukuru is now Plankton. But they're apparently going to start up the behind-the-scenes tour stuff again. This is something that her boss apparently is very into for them to do. Not only that, but they want to do one within a week. So she has to go back to the whole process of trying to get everybody's approval, which seems to go better this time. One was specifically denying it, but after apparently the director kind of nudged them, they decided to allow it. But even with Chiyo, she's like, no, it ain't going to happen. It's too early. Which we end up finding out over time is because she believes that the penguins aren't settled yet. They're not used to their new environment yet, which was nice. It was a solid reason for her to do that, not just the fact that she wants to throw it in Kukuru's face. But it seems like through this whole process of Fuka basically proving herself to Chiyo in the idea that if she can memorize all 20 penguins' names and everything, it's like, oh my gosh. Memorizing 20 penguin names. They didn't necessarily say how long she had. It just seemed like maybe a couple days of time that she was supposed to memorize all. I'm like, no, they ain't even happening. I don't have that kind of memory at all. So I give all the credit to Fuka for that one. But yeah, Fuka pulls it off, and that kind of creates this positivity to Chiyo. And that's when Kukuru comes sneaking right in and says, oh, hey, can we still do this? And it kind of seems with the help of Marina that they kind of get that little extra bump that they need to kind of tell Chiyo, look, let's do this. And it kind of is also helped by the idea that she says, it's fine, but only when they're eating. Which doesn't get too much because apparently when they finally have the event, only one family shows up. But it was nice because I think this was a huge turning point for Kukuru because she doesn't really see why she's in marketing. And I think this whole event was definitely a sign to prove to her that this is something that she'll enjoy. Because what was she doing? She was creating fans of the aquarium, is pretty much what her boss was kind of putting it, sparking this love and interest to this family of the aquarium, which is exactly what she likes. So it's definitely a turning point for her. We did have one scene where all the Gamma Gammas come together. It's pretty much to welcome Fuka back. So they have this nice little dinner, and even though Kukuru is like being all negative, they kind of spark her back up. And for some reason, they brought in Edgy, the fish-obsessed guy. So he's turning out to be just like the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen, where he pretty much says everything's a fish and it equates everything to fish. Like I said, not feeling this guy. He seemed a little bit positive when he found out that Fuka was going to be there, so apparently he knows her as an idol, I think through somebody else, but yeah. He's weird. He's very weird. And it kind of rounds everything out with a little conversation between Fuka and Kukuru, and this idea that Kukuru feels like she did her best because of Fuka's maturity and her pushing her forward. At the same time, Fuka's talking about how she came there because of Kukuru. So a cute little moment between the two of them. But yeah, solid episode overall. Like I said, a good turning point for Kukuru. We went from her being very depressed to her pretty much being sparked to enjoying what she does, which is to be this marketing person. At the same time, bringing Fuka into the mix, getting a little bit further with Chiyu. I kind of assumed this would be like one focal point where we can have Kukuru really kind of come back to Chiyu and apologize, maybe show some respect to her. That way we can kind of clear this whole situation up between the two of them. But it does seem like it's doing a more gradual move, if anything. Maybe seeing how passionate Kukuru is in helping with marketing, maybe improving the viewpoint of the aquarium might change Chiyu's mind as to her perspective of Kukuru. At any rate, not really too much to kind of foresee in the future for the series, other than the fact of having Fuka on board now. Seems to be a lot of points made about her past of being an idol, so I'm not sure if anybody's going to try to push her in that regard, maybe to utilize her as an idol to help with anything. That was something that I kind of felt early on in the show, in the story, was going to be a focal point at some point, is to utilize Fuka's, I guess, perspective in the idol industry, but it really doesn't seem like it's doing that. It's not really using that as an easy way to, I guess, boost attendees in any way, which is kind of surprising to me. Like I said, I originally thought back in Gamma Gamma that they were going to utilize Fuka's, I guess, prestige as an idol to bring in people to Gamma Gamma, but they never did, which is really, really surprising to me. It really just seems like somebody who changed their dreams, and that's really the only focus they're going to have in Fuka, which I think is nice. It's not just going for the easy route with the story and, well, she's an ex-idol, so obviously at some point, idol show. But yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts on the episode. Getting ready to see how Gamma Gamma faction rises up and takes over Tengara. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. We definitely appreciate everybody that does. And y'all take care.